So by March, Colón felt recovered enough to get this plan into motion. The Allies marched from La Isabela on March 24th, 1495. Here the details are kind of sketchy because it said that Columbus and Guacanagari jointly were commanding around 200 Spanish guards, 20 horses, and about 20 hounds or dogs. However, it doesn't mention how many of Guacanagari's men accompanied them. What is described is the following. They were supposedly fighting more than 100,000 Indians. We need to take that with a grain of salt because we know that most of the time they exaggerated the numbers in order to make these battles seem more impressive. Their plan consisted on dividing their group. They decided to split and come around and force the indigenous people in the middle. A similar move as what the Caribs did to the Ciguayos in la Península de Samaná. Colón believed that because the Tainos were very skittish, that by hearing noises in multiple sides, because they used their arquebuses, they used their hounds, they used their horses, they made lots of noise, that the indigenous people would panic and run in all directions. And it worked. Some were unalived by shots, others by the dogs, others by being trampled by the horses. And among the fighters was the one that they were seeking out the most, which was Caunabo. Caunabo was not on his own. We know that Beecho was also present, who was his brother-in-law, because Beecho's sister was Ana Caona. Reasons unknown, Beecho abandoned Caunabo, and he was captured along with his wives and children. So where was Guacanagari? This sly man right here slipped away, and he never was allied to Colón again. It is believed that this is exactly what Guacanagari wanted. He wanted Caunabo to be captured because Caunabo was just laying waste to his own Yucayeque and his own people. Because remember, they were not allies per se in between them. They were all independent nations that basically just consisted of a town. This battle is known as La Batalla del Santo Cerro. Because the details weren't written immediately, we have different details from different areas. Some say that Guacanagari was actually already in La Vega Real, waiting for Colón, and others say that he met with Colón in La Isabela and headed out. It is supported right now, the idea that Colón headed out. He did not wait for Guacanagari. He actually went towards El Santo Cerro on his own, and Guacanagari stayed there waiting for him. We assume that he probably sent some sort of messenger to let him know to not come to La Isabela, but to stay there. This battle didn't last more than a few minutes. However, this changed the course of power on the island and allowed the Spanish to completely overtake it. It doesn't mean that the indigenous people didn't continue to fight back. They continued to do so as long as they could. The men who were killed in this battle were eventually brought back to La Isabela and buried. You can actually see these burials in El Museo de La Isabela in Puerto Plata. It is known, though, that Guacanagari was never captured by the Spanish. However, it is believed that El Cacique Guarionex did capture him, and he actually disemboweled him and let him die tied to a tree. What we know for certain is that Guacanagari was a strategist. He went with whoever he thought could be his best ally at the moment. If he needed to betray you because you no longer were worth his time, he would do it. The last thing that we know about Guacanagari is that it was reported that he had switched sides again, and he was massacring by the dozens isolated Spanish settlers. Guacanagari and Caunabo were mortal enemies, and unfortunately, Guacanagari's determination to get rid of Caunabo brought the destruction of the entire island.